I've still yet to figure out how to hit all of the right buttons at the same time so you can show me on camera when the open is over. And I'm sure it's just one thing that Jason will sit there and go, no, you genius, you do this, this, and then this. Welcome to Saturday SDH AM. John here, you there. Thanks for dropping by as you always do. And it is the standard Saturday here during the cup that the world is chasing after. We'll have your review preview coming up in a bit. After what happened yesterday, Super Sub Mikel Merino has sent Spain on to take on France, and we will discuss that. Plus, we have the two matchups today, and we will hear from Thomas Tuchel and Harry Kane as they get ready for their matchup against Norway. And as those two get ready on one side, Argentina and Switzerland, your nightcap at Arrowhead. We'll have that one. We'll preview that one as well. Get all your juice boxes, all your news, all your notes, all the things, all the leagues. And we'll even hear from the USYNT, the U20 women's side. They are the first ones to wander onto the turf at fields 1 and 2 down at the Arthur M. Blank U.S. National Training Center. We'll get to hear from the coach and find out about this particular 11-day window and all the things in case something else breaks while we're here. But under normal circumstances, we have our hydration break early. Or we have it at the halfway point. Today, we're having it early because we are going to Burlington, Vermont to catch up with Maxi Viera, head coach of Asheville City, as they get ready for the national semifinal. Hydration break, sir, as you wish. So we're trying to keep up with you.
Good morning, John.
Morning. And how is Burlington, by the way?
How is it? It's a smaller version of Asheville. Nice, warm weather, a little bit of breeze, in the afternoon. We practiced last night. But it's a very nice town. It's beautiful here.
Eastern half of the national semifinals, USLW, tonight, Vermont Green and Asheville City. What's the season been like for you so far to get you to a national semifinal, Coach?
Tough season. We started with tough results, tie and a loss. We, I guess, we found the team. We found the way to get results. It's been a long competitive season. We had a very competitive roster. We knew that's going to be a tough season coming from the year before, going undefeated and winning the division, the conference last year. So we knew the team to beat, and now enjoying now because it's last two games hopefully, and to enjoy it with the team group of human beings, like besides being players, and so we try to enjoy every day, as much as we can.
For those that have not had the chance to see you play this year, how would you describe how you are offensively and defensively out there, and who are some of the folks that when they watch you tonight, they're going to gravitate and go, okay, I've heard about so-and-so. I know that they're a part of Asheville City's success.
Well, we are very, like I said, we don't have very big individualities, like some standout players. If you go through every game and results and you goals for us, many players stole the show, like each game at a time. If you key players right now, or players that are very good performance, we talk about Lori she's a striker coming from Embry-Riddle, first season with the club. Didn't start the first few games, and in the season she found her confidence, starts scoring goals, she's been a very good, creating a lot of chances and scoring and assisting. You have Juli Viera on defense. She's my sister, by the way. It's we're
Ah,
dynamic coaching your sister. Yes, had a very good year with the Uruguayan national team, and it's been in and out due to national team calls. But I think the last few games she's been very solid on defense. You of course have to talk about Rachel Log. She's a wall. You have Phoebe Hollin playing center back, scoring goals, assisting. And the list can keep going on. I mean, I can talk about, like I said, we are competitive and like I told my opinion of the season, I can put put a bag with names for each position and we're gonna be competitive. So it's been fun. It's been very challenging to find an 11. To make a roster has been competitive and challenging. So when they life, you know, you know, you have some to work with. So
all right. I'll ask, what's it like coaching your sister?
So I remember being in conversations with the club before last season when they hired me, and that's one of the concerns, how you gonna handle that, how gonna be, and so it was I rather her than for me. Like you expect more, so and I think that's been the case. We have very strong personalities. Sometimes it's normal, but we know and we know how to differentiate. You know how to separate. I'm Maxi, your brother, and now I can be Maxi, your coach, and we respect that. Juli, my sister, as long as you walk the fine line, and you know the times, it working pretty good for us.
How hard is that?
It is hard at times, to be on the field and and I guess for her to take it some criticism or other on the front of your teammates. I think she's done a very good job. She's done a very understanding the difference, coach, and and we can be out of here and be buddies, and be your sister, and we can hang out. And I think for those parties, actually, it helped me. It helps me to connect with the other players, having issue with some of her teammates from college, from back home. We have Lu Flores from Uruguay, Roa Dome, our Spain, that was a freshman with my sister.
Oh, I knew we're fighting it there for a couple of seconds. So let's see if Maxi comes back in, or if people were trying to call him in Burlington, Vermont. I figured that it might be a little, his phone might be blowing up, considering that he is playing a national semifinal tonight. And I was waiting. I didn't know how far into breakfast we were going to get before before we were going to be able to let's see how we were going to monopolize his time. Basically, that's what I was trying to figure out. It's like how much of his time would we get before his phone started blowing up during breakfast to find out everything that's attached. All right, so let's see if we can rejoin the stream in Burlington, Vermont, and find out what's going on with Coach. There he is. I figured your phone might be blowing up this morning. Oh, 2 for 2. Hang on. Let me put him in the. Let me put Maxi in the green room here. But yeah, I mean it's interesting to find out about coaching one's sister. I do have questions about who's the better athlete, maybe who's in a 1v1 or in the sprint to take a PK or something like that. But we'll get into that coming up in a second. But I figured it might be his phone might be blowing up this morning as we're getting ready for a national semifinal. But I'm gonna obviously thank him for his patience and dialing in as folks are trying to sit there and get ready for it. I'm going to ask. I got another couple of questions about study hall and getting ready for Vermont Green and all this kind of stuff. But we'll catch up. We'll catch up with those when the signal strength continues to improve there in Burlington. But Maxi Viera, the head coach at Asheville City, getting ready for the national semifinals in USLW, and that is Vermont Green tonight. And that one is at 7 o'clock, I believe, and that is going to be, you can catch that one from Virtue Field, 7 o'clock tonight, and you can catch that one on Sports Engine Play. Then you have 10:30 Salmon Bay and Minnesota Aurora. That one's at 10:30 at Interbay in the Seattle area, and we'll find out. It's like he had it and he lost it. So at 10:30 tonight is the Western semifinal with Minnesota Aurora and Salmon Bay. If you missed our interview with Jake Griffith yesterday, then go back to yesterday's show, and you can catch up with our interview. The tail end of hour number 2, so the second half hour in hour number 2, segment 4, is with Jake Griffith, the play-by-play voice of Minnesota Aurora, and he gives you the rundown of everything that's going on the Aurora side of things. Let's see if Maxi has survived the buffet. He had it and he lost it. It's like I'm about to cue him in the green room, and it's like in, out, in, out, in, out. But yeah, I mean we're fighting technology this morning. We're definitely fighting technology this morning in Burlington, Vermont, and that's why I was asking if he found a place to hide in the hotel. So it looked like he did find a place to hide in the hotel. But now it is trying to pin him into where we can actually have discussions and find out what's going on. Lynn Pitts is asking on the Twitters, do not know yet. We do not know what the schedule is for KSU. So let's see if Maxi hangs on here. So let me cue him back in. I figured your phone might be blowing up. Shoot. We had him and then we lost him. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. So let me do this. I'm going to send Maxi an email real quick and see if this is going to help matters here. So where is it? No, hang on. Nothing like live TV, eh? Let's see. So Maxi, quick note. Use the hotel Wi-Fi to help with signal. All right. All right. So do not know. Lynn is asking on Twitter if we know about Kennesaw State and the Twos. Do not know what their future is. If you go on the schedule for ATL UTD 2, and that is go to atlutd.com. You can go to the schedule for Atlanta United 2. Right now, starting with July 26th, they're all listed as TBCs. It's like to be determined, I don't know what the C stands for, but TBD means to be determined. So to be something. So as of right now, we have a TBC to be figured out. NYCFC would start the TBCs for the remainder of the season in MLS NEXT Pro. So Atlanta United 2 and NYCFC, starting with that one, and the rest of the home schedule, we don't know yet. So right now it's TBC. You have this matchup with Inter Miami tonight, 7 o'clock, pregame at 6:30 across the network. and then with problem with the website. Interesting. That's strange. And that's strange. So Maxi's telling me there's a problem with the website. Interesting. Let's see. That's wild. Nothing like. See, now this is what we're gonna. All right, so that's there. All right, so I'm gonna troubleshoot here. So all right, so it's and okay, so it's interesting. So so I don't know. Strange. I'm seeing it on two separate places. All right, so I'm gonna have him back out all the way and then come back in, but it could be. If it's technology, I have a problem because I don't know how to fix technology. If it's so let's see. So I blame the gremlins if that is in fact the case. Keep your fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Oh, he went into the hotel room. Okay, cool. There he is. Hi. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, sorry. I think I have better reception here.
It's all good, dude. I'm glad we got you. Just another couple of questions. Didn't mean for you to have to race back to your hotel room to finish this stuff up.
I was right next to it. It's no problem.
Okay, so I was talking about. We were talking about the idea of being coach / brother, and then being there with your sister. What has this experience been like for the two of you to go through all of this stuff there in Asheville, and now you're in a national semifinal? What's this ride been like for the family?
It's been amazing. I need to add also, my father is in my coaching staff this year, so he's my assistant coach.
Okay.
He was a FIFA referee for many years as a professional. He is a professional coach now back home, and I added him to the staff this year. So it's been an amazing experience. It's not every day that you get to work with your father and coach your sister.
I mean, that's kind of what I was going to ask about. I mean, you got your dad there, and you came to the country. You played at Montreat, you played at Rio Grande, then Western Mass, and we know it's to the postseason and all this kind of stuff. You've done time in the high school ranks, both public and private, there in that part of Western Carolina. What's it been like for you to see the game grow on a bunch of different levels and still be able to share it with your family? And I'm sure your dad's sitting there drawing up plays and your sister's drawing up plays and everything. Here, use this. What's it been like for you to see it grow both as a player and as a coach?
It's been an amazing experience. When I came here to the United States in 2010 as a player, the level of competition, I think it wasn't as nearly as it is right now. It grew a huge amount since 2010 of what I experienced here. Of course, I've been playing and coaching at all different levels here and out of the United States as well. As a coach, always trying to grow and learn new things and get new licenses. This is very dynamic. It changes every day. I had the opportunity to be at all levels of coaching, besides professional. We are in a pre-professional league. Sometimes, when you go from the club level to high school to college to USLW, some things are managed differently. Of of course, in club soccer, you're paying, and there's a little bit of entitlement, and that's always the playing time discussion. When you go to the college level, USLW, everything's about performance.
Mhm.
You need to earn your spot, and that's how it is at the professional level. So, um, and then going back to what you told me about having my father here and my sister, one of the reasons I I reached out to my father this year was because after a very successful season as a coach, and your first season, and then you go back again with a good amount of the same players returning, and you need somebody from the outside to come and see things with a different perspective, somebody that's gonna come and question me, and he does all the time, question your decisions, and you need that. So when selecting the coaching staff, I wanted that challenge. I want people that I know, we have the same vision, we want the same things, and of course you need to have a good relationship, because everything here is about relationships, and then you want someone that is gonna be questioning and challenging, and looking at looking at everything through a different lens, because you start knowing your players more after a season, and sharing a lot of experiences, and trusting, and sometimes maybe you're not very objective because of unconsciously, uh, all that you live before, all those experiences with these players, might, without you knowing, might influence your decisions, and who's coming in, who's coming out. So I wanted that. I wanted somebody from the outside a little bit, and someone that I know is gonna challenge me, is gonna question me. We're gonna have discussions, and it's gonna make you work harder and pay more attention to every detail.
All right, go ahead and hydrate. I know that you were find your hydration, and go ahead and
I gotta go get it right now.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, go ahead. Don't worry about it. Look, it's live TV. It's all good. Because look, you were struggling there in that answer, so go ahead and hydrate. That's
Yes,
that's
sorry.
no problem whatsoever. So let me get. So how hard is it to assemble a roster? I mean, obviously, you were talking about how you pretty much got most of the folks back from last year, but in a league that is seasonal, and you're hoping to play into July, late July and such. How hard is it to assemble a USLW roster and have it be competitive, and understand that, yeah, you might have some folks drifting in and out because they got to go back to college, and it might be, over on the other end of the planet. How hard is the USLW to function and still have a winning team?
That's that's the biggest challenge, because you wanna have players for entire season, and then there's a lot of very good players, that they are needed back to the college, earlier in the season,
Mm-hmm.
and that, maybe some players might help you win some games at the beginning, but you want to be here for the long run. So I want players that I know I can have throughout the entire season. Then you have players signing pro, like Gree, like Sam Sherrocks, um, through the season, and they gotta go to their new teams. Which, that's something that of course, we are very happy for it, because that's another goal that we have as a club, is to send players pro,
Yep.
and that you have to have backup plans for each case scenario. So you gotta look at every player, say, okay, well, this player, it's their last year of college, looking to sign a contract. That now you're bringing this player in. It's a chance that you might lose them through the season. So you have to have some other players in that position, and they got another role. They gotta know. You gotta try to give them opportunities to all of them as much as possible, if they are performing well. So the biggest challenge to recruit, and for us, I think is easier. I'm telling you, compared to other teams,
Mhm.
because here they get everything and more than any other club will give you in a USLW or USL2 team. They live in a nice apartment. They get their meals. The apartment has a pool, a gym. They have another gymnasium that the club provides for recovery, where you have sauna, ice bath, acupuncture, massage, compression boots, cryopractic. You name it, you have it. So that makes your job a little bit easier to recruit, and of course the result of the team, it helped us to recruit. So the hard part here where I'm at is what every coach wants. Is the other way around. Is The hard part is to turn down people sometimes. This year, for my roster, I had maybe 25 to 30 players that I had to turn down.
Wow.
And because, yeah, you wish you can bring everybody, but you cannot. Then you have international limits. You can only have 10 internationals per game roster, so that limits your options too.
Huh.
You have age limit. So it's a lot of things that go with it. And then you want to have a good core of returners, local. I want to give opportunities to local players.
Mhm.
Um, you know, um, so you gotta balance all of that. They are all very good players, and then it's paying attention, I think, more on the personality, how they're gonna fit with the group, with what we expect and what we want as a coaching staff and as a club. Because I pay a lot of attention into that. I want to bring good players, but they gotta be overall good human beings. If not, they cannot be part of this.
All right. So you got a national semifinal coming up in 9.5 hours. So,
Yes.
so what has how hard is it to study teams where you might not have a whole lot of tape? And how hard is it to study for a national semifinal like this?
Um, we've been here before. This is
Okay.
our second year, so second year playing this type of games.
Mhm.
The good thing about the league, all the teams are required to upload their film to a platform where they have to stream their games. Some games are not there. I guess you get fined if you don't put them.
Oh wow.
But we can watch most of their games. The hard part, the tricky part is towards the end of the season. We lose players. Some other teams might be losing players, so you gotta pay attention. You don't you don't necessarily need to watch the first game of the season.
Yeah.
But we have all the games there. I have a great coaching staff that they work very hard. We all work hard to watch as much video, gather as much information about the opponent, and then nothing is guaranteed. You can show up to the game and they change the game plan. Usually, that's not the case. Um, they might try to swap some jersey numbers to try to
Yeah.
mess with you, but we know all the players by name and last name, and we know everything about them. And then it's just as a coaching staff come together and decide what type of information we want to give to our players. You don't want to overload them with information. You want to give them the least and necessary information as possible. So it's about I think it's about digesting all that information and give it to the player. That's the hardest part. I mean, you have all the information out there. You can watch all the games. You can do all your research. Then it's how you present that to the player, and what do you give them, and what you don't, because they don't need to know everything.
No. 7 o'clock tonight, Vermont Green, Asheville City, national semifinal, right-hand side of the bracket in USLW. Thank you for navigating technology this morning in the hotel and there in Burlington.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. No, like I said, it's live TV, so it's no worries on my end, and just glad we were able to catch up and catch your breath, continue hydrating, and go get some breakfast. And I'm interested to see how many folks from Asheville City make the trip up there tonight. I'm anticipating a very, very loud building on a bunch of different fronts, and it's going to be a fun environment for you there in the national semis. Maxi, it's always great to see you, my friend. Good luck tonight. I'm glad you got up there safely in one piece, and we'll be watching. We'll catch up with you on the flip side. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. It's been a long trip. We're gonna be ready. The stadium is sold out, so unbelievable atmosphere to play, and we are ready and eager to go and get a result tonight.
You got it. All right. Be safe, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There he goes, Maxi Viera, and the head coach at Asheville City. They're playing Vermont Green tonight. And if you have never seen a matchup there at Vermont Green, that is a loud building. I mean, it is. I want to say it's like 5,500 at Virtue Field, and it can be very loud. It can be very loud. And so Asheville City, they've been here before. But we're great to catch up with Maxi Viera, the head coach, who has his father as an assistant and his sister as one of the players. So you got that. And then on the other side of the bracket, like I said, if you missed the conversation yesterday in the 10:30 half hour, Jake Griffith, the play-by-play voice for Minnesota Aurora, dropped by, and he gave us the preview of the Western half. That's at 10:30. So 7 o'clock, right-hand side of the bracket, the Eastern National Semifinal. That one is, once again, all this is on Sports Engine. You probably go to your Asheville City website, Vermont Green website, and they have links for you. But that's going to be a sold-out crowd. It's going to be a loud barn, and it's going to be a fun environment. Winner there takes on the winner of Salmon Bay and Minnesota Aurora, and that is your USLW semifinals. So that was opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Starting your day with the most important stories in the game, right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy body, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff, powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. All right, the rest of the rundown for the morning. We're going to go over what happened in the World Cup. It's review preview time as we get you ready for that one. And the semifinals will be set after today. One side of the bracket, it's going to be France and Spain. Other side of the bracket, it's the winner of the two that are going on today. So to go forward, we have to go backward first. And morning BAM. No. So BAM is introducing Fabrizio Romano's story. And if it is the story that I think, we're probably going to be getting into it. Yeah. The Jaden Adams story. We are going to have to get into that, but yeah, that is a part of the rundown this morning, Bam. So yes, we will be discussing the Jaden Adams story here as a part of the rundown this morning here on the morning show. So to go back to yesterday, you already knew that France was going to be one half of one semifinal. So what happens in the other semifinal? And it was a crazy back and forth that had a lot of moments to it. And you end up with, some events that lead to other things. You have a cause and effect. So it's SoFi, and it was a noon kick at SoFi. You had De Ketelaere equalizing from a Fabian Ruiz goal in the first half. So 30th minute, Fabian Ruiz scores. And I believe Fabian and his family are with child. So Fabian Ruiz scores in the 30th. De Ketelaere continues his hot run of late to equalize in the 41st minute. So you're at 1-1, and it was that way for most of the second half. It looked like a lot of the second half was both teams trying to navigate how not to mess things up and get into something north of 90. And so then you had a moment with about 25 to go. Thibaut Courtois makes a save, and he kind of does a bit of a split, and he ends up injuring either his left groin or left quad. They were kind of the physios were treating the same area and the same surface area, and he could not continue. Stretches out to make a save with his left leg, and the after effects caused an injury, and he couldn't continue. So you had to have a substitution for Rudy Garcia, where he sends in Sene Lammens cold with about 19 to go. And then we go to the 88th minute, and Mikel Merino, who has kind of evolved into a super sub, has his next moment. And it would have been nice if I had, uploaded all of the highlights that I was trying to bring in this morning. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, John, what are you doing this morning? I have no idea. So let's see. I think that's everybody. Yeah, that is everybody. So you go to the 88th minute, and Mikel Merino, who was a super sub at 90+1 in the match before, ends up getting another moment 3 minutes earlier in the quarterfinal. Here's one version, courtesy of our friends at Telemundo Deportes. And they did it again. Mama, there goes that man again. Here's Mikel Merino.
Aquí está Cubar. Sí, el rebote buscando la pelota. ¡Gol! ¡De España! 2-1, damas y caballeros. ¿Se lo digo? ¿Se lo digo?
No, no lo digas todavía. 2-1 nada más. Bueno, un partido que va a quedar marcado por esto, Luis. De un lado y del otro. Del lado de Bélgica, la salida de Thibaut Courtois, el ingreso de Sene Lammens apenas a jugar su tercer partido con la selección.
So Sene Lammens he makes the initial save, but it ends up being more of a block than a save. And so since he didn't reach out with his hands to make the save, the ball kind of kicks away from him after the initial shot. And then Merino goes in for the slam dunk to make it 2-1. That's one version. Here's the other version with our friend Sammy Sadovnik from our friends at FDP Radio. And here's how they called it indoors. I mean, it is definitely well worth your time to hang out for this one. So here's the Mikel Merino game winner and the build-up that was there with it, too.
La tiene Cucurella para jugar el próximo martes en Arlington, Texas. Pelota para Cubar. ¡Se le pega! ¡La más que da rebote! ¡Gol! España. El gol estaba en la banca. Mikel Merino con la clásica celebración como lo hacía su padre, como lo hizo en aquella Eurocopa de Alemania, en el banderín del tiro de esquina, la vuelta completa. Le faltó el pañuelo rojo de los Sanfermines, que el otro día también se lo olvidó. El portero Lammens, después del remate de media distancia, bote pronto no la puede controlar. La deja al medio. Y como en el partido contra Portugal, Mikel Merino le va salvando por ahora la papeleta a España. que está a minutos de clasificar a las semifinales de la Copa del Mundo. Gana España 2-1.
And there's the FDP radio version, Sammy Sadovnik on the call. And so that is the eventual game winner, 2-1. Mikel Merino, super sub, does it again. And that's how they advance. That's how they advance into the semifinal. And so that is one semifinal. It is Spain and France. And so that's where so that's the latest with that side of the bracket. And from that, it's like I'm trying to send something in, on social media. No. I'm trying to do initials. There you go. Goodness gracious alive. All right. So that I was answering the question that Lynn gave about home matches on Atlanta United 2. They're listed as TBCs from this moment going forward after tonight. So you get that goal from Mikel Merino. Spain advances. So it's Spain and France on one side of the bracket. Today, 2 matches. The first one is just ridiculous when you think about it. It is Norway and England. So you got the big fella for Norway, and you've got a dinged up squad for Thomas Tuchel and England going into this matchup. A lot of issues. Gerald Kwanzaa once again still in his red card suspension. It was a 2-game ban. So you've got that to look at with that matchup. I'm getting you into your fun facts here in just a second. And your daily media update, as our friends at FIFA have been able to tell us. So in this matchup for Norway and England, Norway winless in their last 6 matches against European teams in the competition. England have prevailed only once in their last 6 knockout round ties against UEFA competition. Goal for Harry Kane sees him equal Gary Lineker's England record of scoring in 4 successive FIFA World Cup appearances, Lineker achieving the feat across 86 and 90. Then you have matchup number 2. We'll have those notes coming up in just a little bit. But other fun facts involving these matchups, where you have Norway and England going at it once again. This one is at Hard Rock, 5 o'clock local time. Clement Turpin is the man in the middle. It is a French crew. Nicolas Danos and Benjamin Pajes are your ARs. Your fourth is Alejandro Hernandez from Spain. Your reserve AR is Jose Enrique Naranjo from Spain. VAR is Jerome Brissard from France. Armando Villarreal is your AVAR. Support VAR, Carlos del Cerro Grande from Spain. I can't roll my R's this morning. Standby VAR is Mohammed Obaid Khadim from the UAE. And your standby AVAR is Abdullah Al-Sheri from Saudi Arabia. The all-European last 8 encounter. First time FIFA World Cup quarterfinalist Norway against England. This is their 3rd straight of getting there. Previous meetings, all previous meetings. They have not met in the World Cup ever. Previous meetings, period, internationals, 12 matchups, 7 wins for England, 3 draws and 2 losses, and a goal difference of plus 21. Last time they met was March 19th of 2014 in a friendly at Wembley. Norway unbeaten in their last 3 competitive matches against England, 2 wins and a draw. Most recent was the qualifier in Oslo, helped them qualify for USA 94. England would miss out. 4 friendly internationals between the nations. Since then, England unbeaten, clean sheet in all 4. 2 0-0 draws followed by 2 1-0 wins. The last one of those was September 2014. So it was 9-3, not 3-9. I'm reading it backward. Norway reached the quarters for the first time in their history, winless in their 6 World Cup matches against European teams, 2 draws and 4 losses. Norway have only lost 2 of their last 10 World Cup matches. They've won 4 out of 5 at this edition. Norway have just lost 2 of their last 21, 16 wins there. They've now scored 12 goals in the 2026 World Cup, extending their all-time best in a single edition of the tournament. Norway have opened the scoring in 4 of their 5 matches this World Cup. Erling Haaland has 7 goals in his first 4 World Cup appearances, scored 62 times in 54 appearances for country, having now found the net against 27 different nations. If he scores today, England would be 28. Erling Haaland has scored in each of his last 14 competitive encounters for Norway, 27 goals in that span. England have prevailed at one of their last 6 World Cup knockout round ties against European teams, come into this encounter having lost 3 in a row. England have progressed from 3 of their 10 World Cup quarterfinal ties. England have lost only one of their last 10 matches at the World Cup, winning 7, aiming to win 4 successive World Cup matches for the first time since a 6-match run when they won the last 5 in '66 and their opening match in 1970. Jordan Pickford, after his 17th appearance against Mexico, is now England's joint record appearance maker in World Cup history, matching Peter Shilton. He becomes England's all-time leading appearance maker if he starts in this match or appears in this match. Harry Kane is poised to move on to 17, pulling level with Shilton. Jude Bellingham's now 5 goals in the World Cup, drawing level with Jeff Hurst. Only Harry Kane with 14 and Lineker with 10 have scored more for England. Harry Kane has scored 14 goals in the World Cup, extending his record as their all-time top goal scorer. 11 goals in this World Cup, the 3rd edition in a row. They've hit double figures, 2 short of their record of 13, which they posted in 22. A goal for Harry Kane sees him equal Lineker. 9 of the 26 players in Norway's FIFA World Cup squad currently play their club football in England. Ayer, Müller-Wolf, Berge, Bob, Holland, Odegaard, Jürgen Strand-Larsen, Egil Selvik, and Sondre Langas. And so a Manchester City player since 22. Erling Haaland has won 8 trophies with club, including the treble, Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup in his debut campaign when he was voted Premier League Player of the Year. Odegaard is also the captain of Arsenal, winning the 25-26 league title alongside Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, and Eberechi Eze. Strand-Larsen is a Crystal Palace teammate of England's keeper Dean Henderson. Christoph Ayer is a colleague of Jordan Henderson at Brentford. And Ståle Solbakken and England's Thomas Tuchel were rival head coaches in the Bundesliga 15 years ago with Cologne and Mainz, respectively. Their first encounter was a draw in Cologne, second of 4 home, a 4-0 home win for Mainz in April of 2012. So that is all the trivia that you need for this matchup going in. And when you get to go and hang out with your friends, you get to tell them all the stuff. So leading into this matchup, Harry Kane, Thomas Tuchel, they were the ones that were going to be answering questions from anyone and everyone having to do with this encounter. And so here is Thomas Tuchel pregame heading into this match, once again, courtesy of our friends at FIFA.
Yeah, of course, that's the best news. We had everyone available in training, as you said, which we of course like. We have the full choice, except for our suspended player, Charles Kwanzaa. So that's the good news. I think we took a big step in our last match, but it was only a step. We're still hungry, we still have dreams, and we still have a big goal to play for. And the next step is to win the quarterfinal. It's important to look up front. We left this match behind. We take the positive things and the belief with us, but everything that matters is ahead of us. It is tomorrow's match.
And that is the words of Thomas Tuchel heading into the matchup this afternoon and evening, depending on where you're going to be watching it from. And here are the words of Harry Kane heading into same matchup this evening. Once again, Harry Kane answering the questions of the assembled media at the MD-1.
Yeah, we're going to need to be at our best for sure. Tough game against a really good team who have proven over recent years how dangerous they can be. They're obviously having a fantastic World Cup themselves and kind of riding this wave of freedom. But from our point of view, we need to be at our very best, both defensively and offensively. Yeah, we come off the back of a really good win, but still room for improvement. And I think, yeah, this is the time to show it in a big quarterfinal game on the world stage. We want to show what type of team we can be. And yeah, and that starts tomorrow.
What he said. 8 o'clock tonight at Arrowhead, otherwise known as Kansas City Stadium, for the upcoming, 9 days or so. Argentina, Switzerland. It is a Portuguese refereeing crew. João Pinheiro is your man in the middle. Bruno Jesus, Luciano Maia are your ARs. Fourth officials, Drew Fisher from Canada. Reserve AR is Michael Barwagon from Canada. VAR is Guillermo Pacheco from Mexico. Assistant VAR, Juan Lada from Chile. Support VAR is Marco De Bello from Italy. Belgium's Bram Van Driesche is your standby VAR. Standby AVAR is Willie Delahode from France. Argentina is looking to continue their quest to retain, while Switzerland in the last 8 for the first time since 1954, looking to break new ground by making it past this stage. Only 2 meetings in the World Cup, 2-0 1966, 1-0 round of 16 in 2014 that almost went to penalties. We know what has happened recently with Argentina having to survive both Egypt and Cabo Verde to get to this stage. And Switzerland, whose last 3 matches were at BC Place in Vancouver, came through 4-3 on penalties against Colombia after a goalless 120 minutes in the round of 16. They've beaten Canada, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Qatar in Group B, and then they beat Algeria 2-0 before the shootout victory against Colombia to get them here. So previous meetings, once again, 7 previous meetings, 5 wins, 2 draws for Argentina. Goal differences plus 12. And the last meeting, July 1st, back on 2014. That was back in the group stage of that tournament at the Arena de Sao Paulo in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And Albi Celeste prevailed in 6 of their last 8 knockout ties against European teams, advanced from 4 of their 8 World Cup quarters, all 8 of which have been against European opposition, including the last 2, where they beat Belgium in 2014, Netherlands in a shootout in 2022. Lionel Scaloni is unbeaten in his last 11 outings, 9 wins, 2 draws. Nation's best ever unbeaten run at the competition, aiming to win a 6th successive World Cup match for the first time. 3-time world champs have once again won 9 of their last 11 in the knockouts. Lionel Messi scored in a record 9 fixtures in a row at the World Cup. Found the net in 6 consecutive knockout stage matches, run that stretches back to the round of 16 and 22. If he features, Messi becomes the first player to make 15 appearances in World Cup knockout phase encounters, moving 1 clear of Miroslav Klose. They've notched 2 or more goals, Argentina has, in their last 11 games in the World Cup, matching the mark set by Uruguay in 1930 and from 1930 to 1954. Albi Celeste put together their longest scoring streak, hit the target 14 fixtures in a row inside the tournament. Against Egypt, Argentina became the second team to come back from 2 goals down to win a game in the tournament, following the footsteps of Belgium, who were down 2-0 to Senegal and advanced from there. Switzerland, once again, looking to get the better of South American opposition in back-to-back World Cup knockouts. Remember beating Colombia last time out in PKs. Overall, their record against CONMEBOL is 6 losses in 10 matches. They've only won once. The Nati have not graced the quarterfinals in this event since 1954, seeking to reach the last 4 for the first time, having fallen in those quarterfinals in 34, 38, and 54. Murat Yakin's men have only lost 1 of their last 19, winning 11 of those. And Switzerland have equaled the nation's previous longest unbeaten streak in the competition, achieved across the 06 and 2010 editions. They kept consecutive clean sheets for the first time since a 5-game run from 2006 through 2010. Murat Yakin set to become only the second coach to take charge of Switzerland in 10 FIFA World Cup matches, after Karl Rappen, who had exactly 10 in 3 editions, 38, 54, and 62. Lautaro Martinez and Manuel Akanji, both at Inter Milan, got the Serie A and Coppa Italia titles. Lo Celso and Ricardo Rodriguez spent the last 2 campaigns at Real Betis. Ezequiel Palacios, Granit Xhaka could line up against each other, having won the Bundesliga and the Pokal as Leverkusen teammates 2 years ago. Julian Alvarez, Manuel Akanji were also a part of Manchester City that got the treble in 22 and 23. Scaloni and Yakin played against each other once in the 02-03 Champions League when Yakin's Basel beat Scaloni's Deportivo La Coruña 1-0 at home in the 3rd round of matches in the 2nd group stage. Murat Yakin's brother Hakan scored the only goal of the match. Scaloni and Hakan took part in the return fixture a week later, 1-0 home win, but Murat missed out. So that's all the trivia that you need for that one. So I'm going to check and see. I'm going to check and see if the juice box situation has been fixed with our friends at Odds Portal, because they were blank across the screen yesterday when we were trying to let everybody know what's going on. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. So it is not. It is. This is strange. This is very strange. Okay. So it looks like I need the composite here is what I need. But you're not going to give me the composite. You give me individuals, but you don't give me the composite. Fine. You're losing my interest in you as a website, sir, because you're supposed to be a composite entity and you give me no numbers. So the numbers to pay attention to. From our friends at Bet365, Norway is a plus 280, draws a plus 260, England is a minus 106, 8 o'clock Argentina is a minus 143 at Arrowhead, draws a plus 260, and Switzerland away as the underdog is a plus 450. We've got numbers on the Tuesday semifinal. France right now is a plus 135, draws a plus 225, and Spain is a plus 210. So top goal scorer in this one, Mbappe, even money at a plus 100. Messi is second at a plus 150, and this is on the day. Holland is a plus 750. Kane is a plus 850. Dembele is a plus 3,300, and Mikel Oyarzabal at a plus 4,000 on Tuesday. So keep an eye out on those numbers. But Mbappe, even money on Tuesday to put the ball in the back of the net. So that's the juice boxes that are attached and the trivia that is attached to the matchups here in the World Cup. 5 o'clock, 10 o'clock, matches 99 and 100 from Hard Rock and Arrowhead, otherwise known as Miami Stadium and Kansas City Stadium. So those are your rundowns there for the morning and everything going on in the cup that the world is chasing after. So since we are past the halfway point, I am not Harry Kane, by the way, England forward. So since we are at the halfway point, time to hydrate, brought to us by our friends at Local Vine, beer, wine, and liquor stores. And 2 locations for you here in the Atlanta area. It is Johns Creek and it is Cumberland. It is at the intersection of Cumberland Parkway and Highway 41 in the strip mall that's over there. They got a big selection of a lot of stuff. We were there about a month ago for Saturday AM, and there was a lot of stuff that was there. So if you're looking to help out with your tailgate, you're looking to help out with how you're going to be watching matches, regardless of level at home, Local Vine Beer, Wine, and Liquor Stores, great friends with us here at SDH. And once again, thanks to them for being great friends and partners starting here in the year 2026. It is Local Vine Beer, Wine, and Liquor Stores in Johns Creek and at Cumberland at the intersection of Highway 41 and Cumberland Parkway. Great friends with us here at the network. All right, let's get you into the other news that's going on. We are going to hear from the US U20s. They have a camp going on right now at the Arthur M. Blank National Training Center, and we'll catch up with Coach and find out after their 1-1 draw involving England a couple days ago, back on Thursday. We will let you know what the latest is there. So, news this morning in and around, and it looks like, according to our friends at The Athletic, Jurgen Klopp is set to lead the German national team. And that is, as of 7 minutes ago, Sebastian Stafford Bloor at The Athletic. He's agreed, meaning Klopp has agreed in principle to become the new head coach of the German national team. He's agreed to terms with the DFB, the German Football Association, on a contract until 2030, which will run through the 28 Euros and the 2030 World Cup. Takes over for Julian Nagelsmann, who resigned his position following Germany's defeat of Paraguay on penalties in the round of 32. Final hurdle to a full agreement is likely to be reached early next week, following meetings in the U.S. with Oliver Mintzlaff, the managing director of Red Bull, during which Klopp's departure from the organization will be agreed. DFB spokesperson said President Bernd Neuendorf and Vice President Hans-Joachim Watzke held their first in-depth talks with Jurgen Klopp yesterday in New York regarding his potential appointment as national team coach. During the constructive exchange, an agreement was reached on the key points of a potential contract. Talks will continue next week. Both sides confident that the negotiations, subject to an agreement with Klopp's current employer, Red Bull, can ultimately be successfully concluded. Any potential contract must be finalized in a joint meeting of the supervisory board and shareholders meeting of the DFB, GmbH, and Co. KG. Pep Lijnders, who served as Klopp's assistant, has also agreed to become part of the new coaching team, whose first game in charge will be Nations League against Netherlands in Amsterdam on September 24. So that is the latest involving Jurgen Klopp, and the possibility, which is now a probability, not quite an eventuality, but still, looking like it is going to be the new head coach of the German national team is going to be Jurgen Klopp. Bam, the news that Bam brought to the table about an hour ago, it was involving Jaden Adams from South Africa. And the news involving Jaden Adams is, I mean, it's absolutely heartbreaking when you're having to do news with an individual that is 25 years old. And let me get to that. And I want to read the news, and I want to do it. Obviously, you want to do it properly here. So, as it was laid out for us about an hour ago, Jaden Adams, passing away at the age of 25, competed for South Africa during their World Cup campaign, which ended less than 2 weeks ago. Played in all three group matches, starting in the first two, unused sub in the round of 32 defeat to Canada. And a statement from the South African Football Players Union, quote, the SAFPU devastated by the untimely passing of Mamelodi Sundowns and Bafana Bafana midfielder Jaden Adams. Jaden had only recently represented South Africa at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, carrying the hopes of the nation with pride, courage, and distinction. His passing is an immeasurable loss to his family, teammates, club, the football fraternity, and country at large. And then they extend their condolences to the family, Mamelodi Sundowns, Stellenbosch, Bafana Bafana, and all those whose lives he touched. Minister of Sport, Arts, and Culture, Gayton McKenzie, he added a statement as well. Cause of death has not been made public. Spokesperson requested privacy on behalf of the family. Adams made headlines during the World Cup, putting grief aside to play in the draw against Czech Republic. Took to the field just one day after his grandmother had passed. 9 caps for South Africa in total after making his debut in 22, scoring 2 goals. And he went through the Stellenbosch Academy. He was born in Cape Town, South Africa. So Jaden Adams leaving us far too soon at the age of 25. Also on the interesting scale when it comes to storylines and such, the future of Mo Salah, and it looks like Mo Salah, he's being courted by several different locations. That is not news. But the idea now, it looks like one of the places that might be interested is Sporting Kansas City. And this came out from the Athletic. It's obviously a long shot, but remember that we're also a long shot in the Cristiano Ronaldo sweepstakes. And there was a big story that came out after Ronaldo went to Saudi Pro about how close that came. So Sporting has emerged as a top MLS suitor for Mo Salah. And from the Athletic, this is a combo platter with Paul Tenorio and Tom Bogert. Once again, and they say this in paragraph, this is literally sentence number 2. To be clear, any MLS club signing Salah is viewed as a long shot due to the Saudi Pro League's heavy interest in bringing him to the league, and that's if Salah opts to depart European soccer this summer at all. Sources indicate Salah prefers to remain in Europe. Moles' options remains open to a move. Previously announced he'd leave Liverpool. And so sources indicate multiple MLS clubs registered at least some interest. Sporting currently sits in the pole position. Club future now at the forefront after he and Egypt eliminated. Sporting's new majority owner, Peter Malouk, is the son of Egyptian immigrants. And that is not the only big money player Sporting Kansas City is chasing this summer, looking to make good on a promise of spending more money, continuing to work on possible deals for Toulouse winger Jan Boho, as reported by The Athletic last month. Olympiacos winger Andre Luiz. Sources confirm an initial report from Sport 24 in Greece. The club is in talks for the Brazilian. Either deal would be among the most expensive fees in league history, pending final agreements and decisions, both being discussed in the range of $18 to $20 million. Negotiations for Luis further advanced than Boho. Boho, former France Youth International, just wrapped up his best season, 10+3 and 35 appearances, all comps. Declared in March, he wanted to switch to represent Les Elephants of Ivory Coast, not a part of their World Cup roster. Lutz joined Olympiacos in January for $7 million, could move again for triple the fee. Flamengo Academy product 7+6 in the first half of the season with Rio Ave, 1,501 minutes. And Salah, 7-7, 2,150 minutes for Liverpool this past year. So transitional season for Sporting Kansas City. New chief soccer officer David Lee looking to build out of the sporting infrastructure and overturn the roster. Rafa Vicky named head coach this winter. More competitive recently, still at the bottom of the Western Conference, 11 points after 14 matches. Still have two DPs, Dejan Joveljic and Manu Garcia. They can add a third if they choose to do so. So that is that's the rundown on the news that is there with Sporting Kansas City. And Thibaut Courtois has announced that he wants a break from Belgium as a national team following their World Cup exit. After losing their match yesterday, and we ran you the highlights, watch from the bench, 34 years old, capped 115 times by Belgium, told reporters after the match, as for my future with the national team, we'll see. I'd perhaps like to take a break from Nations League as it's not the most important thing, maybe come back for Euro qualifiers. Ultimately, it's a decision that the Football Association has to make, if not perhaps today was my last match. September and October international breaks combined into one window, teams playing 4 games over 3 weeks rather than 2 matches over 1. Belgium begins September 25th against Italy, then going to play France twice and Turkey before club football returns. So Thibaut Courtois might want to take a break. Signed a new contract. He'll be at Real Madrid through 27. Alejandro Garnacho at Chelsea's missed their preseason training to finalize a transfer. And so keep an eye out on all of that when it comes to everything in the future. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else that might have missed. The Colombian FA demands legal action after the Campas death threats over the miss in the World Cup. Jessica Hopkins writing yesterday afternoon. Colombia Football Federation's condemned death threats directed at Yamintan Campas and his family after he missed a late goal opportunity in the elimination by Switzerland. FCF's executive committee called on Colombian's Attorney's General Office to open an investigation to prosecute and punish those responsible as swiftly as possible. FCF released a statement Friday saying it categorically condemns the threats against the life and safety of Yamintan Campas and his family. And once again, 32 years after the death of Andres Escobar after the 94 World Cup. Multiple players received death threats back in 94 after the own goal lost to the United States. And he was shot upon his return July 2 of 1994. And if you've not seen the 2 Escobars 30 for 30, that is required viewing. Required viewing. Unbelievable 30 for 30 that was produced by ESPN. So that's the latest, I think that's the latest of everything that is going on involving World Cup. Severa Naipan is joining Lommel on a season-long loan, joined City from Rosenborg in the summer 25 for a £12.5 million deal, and he will be working through the next season at Lommel on a season-long loan. Since we're here, we'll go ahead and do gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and then we'll go through the other schedules and everything else that we might have missed or we got to keep an eye on here today. So Let's see if we have any kind of transfer news whatsoever. Might be a little early in the morning. Oh, no, it won't be. Okay. So, Manchester United rumored to be interested in Paraguay keeper Orlando Gil. That'd be a big coup. And the three-letter paper off of the Mo Salah stuff that we were just talking about. Desired salary proving to be something of a barrier in the potential move to Saudi Arabia. And we mentioned Sporting Kansas City possibly taking advantage. Sporting Kansas City and David Lee once again looking to make a statement signing. Salah would fit that bill. Real Madrid unable to persuade Vinicius Jr. to extend his existing contract, now said to be considering his future, according to the four-letter paper. Part of the Brazil side knocked out of the World Cup in the round of 16. Believe that his salary demands don't align with the club's plans. Such a number of Premier League clubs, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and PSG also following the situation. Involving Orlando Gil, it is a couple of European clubs, Manchester United keen on a move for it to provide competition for Sene Lammens. Plays for San Lorenzo, reported to have a clause in his contract that would allow him to leave for £5.2 million. Villa are also interested. I would also wonder if, because he has not allegedly been paid in 6 months, if that would kind of necessitate San Lorenzo to sit there and go, yeah, that'll work. Martin Hjulmand will be announced as an Atletico de Madrid player in the coming hours after signing a 5-year deal, according to Record. Portuguese newspaper believes medical's already taken place. Fee of €40 million agreed between the two clubs, with a further €5 million to follow in bonuses. Denmark international former Sporting captain is going to say his goodbyes to former teammates over the weekend, reporting to Madrid for duty on Monday morning. Villa facing financial pressure to offload a major star to improve their squad. Ollie Watkins might be that person. Fenerbahce, according to the four-letter paper, is keeping an eye on things. Top scorer every season since joining the club in 2020. 13 goals in his last 16 games. 2 years left on his deal. Contemplating a departure. Fenerbahce is offering a huge salary increase. Jeremy Manga completed his move to from Leicester City to Manchester City, so they won that battle. Other rumors. Confusion, according to Fabrizio Romano, on the proposed move of Ederson from Atalanta to Manchester United, reporting that the £38 million deal is off. Caught offside, says Arsenal and Liverpool appear to be heading toward a battle for RB Leipzig's right-sided defender Lucharel Geertruida. Could be available for €25 million. Football Insider, Manchester United interested in signing 2 more midfielders following the arrival of Andre Santos from Chelsea. Roma's Manu Kone and Bournemouth's Alex Scott are among the club's targets. Bournemouth might be getting to the point where they're going to sit there and go, well, don't ask me. They also, Football Insider, saying Coventry City have agreed to sign defender and Swiss international Aurela Amenda from Eintracht Frankfurt for £17 million. Sky has West Ham center back Dinos Mavropanos attracting interest from the Premier League, including Arsenal contemplating his future after their relegation. Gazzetta dello Sport, Como negotiating with Galatasaray over Colombia center back Davinson Sanchez as they're looking to strengthen ahead of their Champions League debut. Gazzetta also saying Juve and Atletico de Madrid will resume negotiations over the transfer of Alexander Sorloth to Turin. Team Talk championship side Middlesbrough are in talks with Crewe over Max Arfston. Max Arfston keen on a move to England. Fabrizio Romano again, Roma keen on signing Garnacho once again on loan, but the Blues would rather him sign on a permanent. Nikola Shira, Sunderland attempting to sign Sassuolo center back Tarik Muharemovic for around €40 million. And Gianluca Di Marzio, Barcelona and Spain's forward Ferran Torres have agreed in principle on a deal to join PSG. That is the early go-round of the gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo. Let's see how busy our buddy Ben Jacobs has been this morning, if he's been busy at all. We imagine he has been. So let's see if there's anything that's in the barn. And Alcadzia forward Julian Quinones is viewed as not for sale. Chelsea have not placed a bid despite reports. Martin Hjulmand doesn't have the hand hovering with a pen over a contract photo. He's sitting on an examination table and pointing at the step and repeat curtain that is in the exam room. So apparently it's a 5-year deal. Sitting on a gurney in an examination room is not freaking anybody out. So there's that one. The Jeremy Manga deal, the fee's £10 million plus 2.5. Leicester informed all suitors they weren't prepared to sell for a package under 10. Enzo Maresca was key to the deal. Manga signs a 5. And it is the deal where he is staring into the camera, pen hovering over a contract that he has either signed or is about to sign. We mentioned the Garnacho deal, Sfera Naipan, Lommel SK, season-long loan in Belgium. And when Kevin De Bruyne was asked on whether or not it's his last World Cup, he's like, just let me get on holiday, take a break. It's been a tough year. Had a big surgery. I'm proud of what I've done. I worked really hard. That's it. So you have Kevin De Bruyne is like, fam, spot me a couple of minutes here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just spot me a few. Spot me a few. So that's the latest in the gossip, rumor, and innuendo that is going on. Once again, remember that today, you have your quarterfinals. Those two winners come to Atlanta. They take over Atlanta Stadium for the last competitive match in that building on Wednesday afternoon. Obviously, we'll have coverage of the MD-1s on Tuesday, and we will let you know what's going on with the winners as they get ready for their matchups across the board. So Norway, England, and Argentina and Switzerland. Keep an eye on those two. According to the folks, the sources that are available in Europe, the Bernabeu has been the host idea for the 2030 World Cup final. Morocco's Hassan II Stadium, projected to hold around 115,000 compared to the Bernabeu's 85, is gaining momentum. No final decision has been made yet. And so you've also got everything that is attached to that. We've talked about Michael Edwards, talked about Jeremy Manga. PSG is chasing after Ferran Torres. So that is the transactions that are on the table. Last night in the NWSL, a couple of matchups to keep an eye on here. Esther Gonzalez gets a brace. Gotham beat Utah Royals 3-1. Tierna Davidson also scoring for Gotham. Then it was Boston Legacy shutting out Chicago 2-0. Casey Murphy got a clean sheet. Bay snapped a 6-match winless streak with a 2-0 win over Racing Louisville. And then probably one of the bigger surprise moments from yesterday was the match that was on Prime. Orlando and Kansas City. Barbara Bonda scored late. Hannah Anderson scored, and all 3 goals for Orlando Pride were scored in the second half. 3-0 win over Kansas City in Orlando. The first goal that was scored in the second half on NWSL on Prime was from Marta. Here is the call of that. Mike Watts, Lori Lindsay on the call, NWSL on Prime.
Valle on the other end. Chops it back to Marta. That's a lot of time for Marta! Her 50th goal for Orlando! It is the most familiar sight to a Pride fan since April 2025.
And I had just mentioned the quick attack for Kansas City down the other end, but because they're dispossessed, good work defensively, then they're stretched offensively for Kansas City. But just look at the amount of time that Marta has to be able to get this ball out from underneath her foot and then be able just to nail this ball into that far corner. Initially it looked like Jordan was just slow to react, but she's actually screened, and maybe the slightest of deflection from Robinson in the end. But that is
It was a bomb is what it was. Marta from about 30 sends it into the net. 3-0 win for Orlando. We'll go over the standings in a second. Today, Ion's doubleheader. North Carolina is hosting Washington Spirit at 6:30. That's at Wake Med in Cary. And then the back end of the doubleheader from the Murph Dragons, San Diego hosting Angel City in your SoCal Classico. Once again, doubleheader on Prime. That one's at 8:45. Standings after the matchups last night. And we do have 2 more matchups tomorrow, but we'll talk about them tomorrow morning, starting at 9:05. San Diego at 28 points. Portland at 27. Spirit with 2 matches in hand are at 24. Gotham with a match in hand are also at 24. Worse goal difference than Spirit. Utah, with the loss last night, they're at 24. Kansas City, with the loss last night, no one could take advantage. You have 4 teams at 24 points. Spirit with the best goal difference, +10 to +7 for Gotham, +5 for Utah, +1 for Kansas City. Kansas City has awakened, by the way, undefeated at home. They're 6-0, 2-6 on the road, by the way. Courage are at 21 points. Pride are at 20 with the win. They've given themselves a little separation from Angel City, who's in 9th. Denver is in 10th at 15, as is Bay, but a better goal difference, highly superior goal difference. Denver also has a match in hand on Bay. Seattle is at 14 points, better goal difference than Dash by 1. Boston with the win gets to 13 points. Chicago is now at 12. And Racing Louisville, 2-10-1 right now, 7 points, 13 matches on the grid. So that is the rundown there of those matchups. So let me see if we have juice boxes involving those with our new friends at Bet365, since Odds Portal isn't giving us any help with anything. Most used. Wow, the most used at Bet365 is the NWSL. Did not know that. Washington is a +115 at Courage. 90-minute draws a +230, and Courage are a +180. Wave at home at the Murph Dragon, a -125, draws a +240. Angel City with a new coaching staff and new player turnaround and turnover is a +280. That matchup once again, 7:45 tonight. 5:30 and 7:45. It is that's 6:30. Wait, hang on just a second. It might have given me the local time. Considering that, 6:30 and 8:45. 6:30 Eastern, 8:45 Eastern. It is Courage and Spirit. It is San Diego and Angel City. That is your doubleheader, as the NWSL is on Ion tonight. So that's your rundown of what's going on there. Okay. MLS Next Pro, we've got to get into that. We've got to get into UPSL because both of them are in the playoffs. And also with NPSL in the playoffs, we got to talk about them as well. So your rundown of the playoffs is such. So let's get you into the playoffs and the schedules. You're getting into the national playoffs. I don't want the structure. I want the actual matches, people. All right. So getting into today, scrolling down through the schedule after everybody played midweek. Sun City shut out Oakland Stompers last night by the final of 5-0. That one was at Shabbat College. So and El Fadelito won theirs at Ohlone. So it'll be El Fadelito and Sun City in the Golden Gate Conference final. North Conference final is at 1 o'clock at Bishop Heelan. Our friends at Duluth FC. So if Shuey's Duluth FC wins this one, we'll probably try to catch up with him next week. They're taking on Siouxland United at Bishop Heelan Catholic. That one's at 1 o'clock. 7 o'clock tonight, Great Lakes final, Flower City Union at Ambassadors FC. That one's at Malone University. Ristosi hosting Virginia Dream at Stevenson University in Mustang Stadium, Mid-Atlantic Conference final, 7 o'clock. Southeast Conference final, Bristol Rhythm at Gene Malcolm hosting 865 Alliance. Bristol Rhythm won their shootout 8-7 to get to the Southeast Conference final. Keystone final, 7:30 tonight. Westchester is hosting SC Motown at Kildare's Field. Also tomorrow, and we'll go over these again tomorrow because of the winners from today. 2 o'clock, Davenport University, Michigan Rangers is the home team against FC Pride. North Atlantic Conference final is at 6:30 tomorrow. New Haven United at the University of New Haven taking on ASC New York. Golden Gate final, 7:30 Eastern at Kezar, where El Fadelito is hosting Sun City. And then the national quarterfinals take over next weekend, and those matchups are all TBA. So the round of 8 starts next weekend in the NPSL. So mentioned NPSL, mentioned USLW. UPSL is currently in their playoffs in the Premier Division, and the national tournament bracket has been finalized. For the rundown, it is Round of 16 this weekend and next. Quarterfinals are in 2 weeks. National finals August 7 and 9. So how about a bracket? How about a bracket, people? Playoffs, bracket. Thank you. All right, so the premier division in the UPSL with their bracket right now, it is Deportivo Rose City awaiting the winner of Provo and Valley 559. That's upper left-hand side of the bracket. It is Albion Antelope Valley and Next Level. They're playing next weekend. Worthington Community FC is taking on Central Kansas United today. They will advance, then they'll get the week off to take on the winner of West Texas Rush and Balboa FC. That's the left-hand side of the bracket. Right-hand side of the bracket, top to bottom, Detroit City 2 is taking on FCY New York. That one is today. Tomorrow, New York Renegades take on Bridge Sports Club. Those two will combine in 2 weeks. It is SCU Heat taking on Tennessee Tempo, who registered one of the big upsets in the tournament, knocking off Kalanji Pro Profile 2-1. So SCU Heat takes on Tennessee Tempo. And then it is PCU Pelicans taking on the Miami United tomorrow, and then those will get the week off. So anybody that is playing this weekend gets a week off before they get into the national quarterfinals. National finals August 7th through the 9th of 2026. So MLS Next Pro, considering we have the matchup for you tonight, Inter Miami CF2 comes to the Turner Soccer Complex in Athens. Pregame 6:30, kickoff 7:03. I'll be there on the call for you. One Football, MLSNextPro.com, the MLS YouTube channel, and us at soccerdownhere.net. So your schedule for today, coming off of the games in the midweek where Whitecaps knocked off Ventura County 3-2 at Swangard, and Earthquakes 2 beat Sporting Kansas City 2 at Negosco 6-1. Atlanta United 2 kicking off the weekend again. One of how many matches? 3 matches at 7 o'clock Eastern. Atlanta United 2, Inter Miami CF 2, Crown Legacy hosting NYCFC 2, and that's at Matthews at 7. Dynamo Dos taking on St. Louis City 2. That one is at SaberCat Stadium. That one is also at 7 o'clock. All of these, once again, One Football, MLSNextPro.com, and the Major League Soccer YouTube channel. 8 o'clock, Rapids 2 in North Texas. That one's at the University of Denver. 10 o'clock Eastern, LAFC 2 hosting Timbers 2 at USC Rawlinson. And Real Monarchs at 10 o'clock at America First Field taking on Whitecaps 2. That one, once again, 10 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, the traditional busy day. It's another 7 matches in MLS Next Pro. Philadelphia Union 2 hosting Huntsville City Football Club, 3 o'clock at Subaru Park. Fire 2 at 4 hosting Red Bulls 2 at SeatGeek in Bridgeview. Carolina Court, Truist Point, 5 o'clock taking on Chattanooga FC. FC Cincinnati 2 hosting Orlando City B at Northern Kentucky University. That one's at 6, as is Connecticut United and Toronto FC 2. CT United and the Young Reds, 6 o'clock from Reese. 8 o'clock, San Jose Earthquakes taking on Tacoma Defiance. That one's at Cardinal. And at 8:30, it is Austin FC 2 at Palmer Field taking on Minnesota United FC 2. And that one is, once again, 8:30 Eastern time on the books. All right, so let's get you into the standings of MLS Next Pro. And it is right now in the Eastern Conference. It is Columbus Crew 2 and Crown Legacy. Those two have been going back and forth a great deal. And it is Crew 2 right now with one more win than Crown Legacy. Crown Legacy has a match in hand, by the way. And so with 9 wins compared to 8, that's the first tiebreaker in MLS Next Pro. And that is that is why right now Columbus Crew 2 at 34 points is ahead of Crown Legacy with 34 points, because 9 wins compared to 8. Then it is Red Bulls 2, 32 points, 17 matches played. Chattanooga FC and the Revolution 2 both at 31 points. Revs with a match in hand, both teams at 8 wins. And then you get into goal difference, and that is where Chattanooga FC takes over. Orlando City B at 30 points. They are at 17 matches. Atlanta United 2 match in hand at 27 points. They get the win. They would go into 6th place because they already have one more win than Orlando City B. So 7th place, Atlanta United 2. NYCFC 2 has matches in hand. They're in 8th at 25 points and 7 wins. Union 2 are in 9th at 24 with 7 wins. They have 2 more wins than Chicago Fire 2. Connecticut United is at 22 points. They're at 16 matches played and 22 points. Toronto FC2, they have played one more match, and they are also at 6 wins and 22 points, but Connecticut United has a superior goal difference, and that's why they are in 11th, and TFC2 is in 12th. Huntsville City Football Club, 16 matches played, 5 wins, 21 points. They are in 13th. Core, 3-9-6-2 after their horrible start to the season. They are at 17 points in 14th. FC Cincinnati 2 with 14 points, 4-11, 1-1. They have finally gone into the post 90-minute draw shootout for the first time this season, because initially it was 4-11. That was it. It was something that was going to be determined in 90 minutes, and that was it. Nothing was going to carry north of 90 minutes, but FC Cincinnati 2 finally has gone north of 90 minutes, and now they're in 15th place, 14 points with the initial go-round in the shootout with 4 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw, and the shootout win has carried them there. And Inter Miami CF2, by the way, coming into the matchup against Atlanta United 2, they're at the bottom of the table in the Eastern Conference. 5 points, 15 matches, 0-11, 4-1. They've scored 13 and 15. They've given up 37. They are 0-4-2 at the Erector set in Fort Lauderdale. They are 0-7-2 in matches away from home. So going into this matchup with Atlanta United 2 tonight, Inter Miami CF2, just to give you recent run of form, they've been competitive. They've been in a lot of their matches, losing in Chattanooga 1-0, losing on the road to FC Cincinnati 2 1-0. At home, Baptist Health Community Field, they drew Carolina Core, lost in PKs, the extra point. Lost at SeatGeek in June to Fire 2 3-1. Then that was when they gave up a lot of goals in a stretch in May. 3 to Crew, 2 to Chattanooga, 5 to Crown Legacy, 4 to Orlando City B. They gave up 4 to Huntsville to start the season, and they also lost to Atlanta United 2 by the score of 2-0 back in April. So that is where Inter Miami CF2 is coming into tonight, giving up a lot of goals up until recently, up until the last couple of weeks. They've only given up 2 goals in their last 3 games. So that's what Atlanta United 2 is going to be facing tonight with the visitors, who have not won on the road this year. So that's the rundown of the matchup tonight in MLS NEXT Pro. Atlanta United 2, Inter Miami CF2. Once again, pregame at 6:30 and kickoff a little after 7 o'clock here on the network. All right. Last thing before we go. Down at the Arthur M. Blank, or the U.S. Soccer Arthur M. Blank. Oh, actually, okay, so the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center. Okay, so I thought that it was U.S. Soccer Arthur M. Blank, but it's the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center. Right now, they're having their first women's international matches down at the training center. The U.S. facing England and Colombia as they're getting ready for the World Cup in Poland coming up later this year. And it's training camp and international matches. U.S. U20s are in the middle of training camp from now through the 16th. And the first matches are taking place on fields 1 and 2 to prepare the squad for the World Cup. And they played England 2 days ago. And so it was an opportunity for us to catch up and find out what's going on the U20 level, and it was once again it was really cool to see matches being played in a friendly dynamic, and it was like I said, it was really cool to see how things were continuing to progress. As Michaela Johnson would score for the U.S., it would be a 1-1 draw, and they're going to be facing Colombia tomorrow night at the training center. That match should be on YouTube, and it was, once again, it was really cool to see how things are continuing to grow and evolve for the side as they're working their way into play. And so we got the chance before the match to catch up with head coach Vicki Jepson of the U20s and find out what it's like to be down there and what she was looking forward to in this camp. So here's our pregame talk with Vicki Jepson. All right, so how has camp been so far?
It's been outstanding. The girls have been incredible. Some players are just coming back to start the college season, so we have a high percentage of college players with a few pros to get minutes in their tank that are not getting minutes in the NWSL, with that good relationship we have with club and country, but that we've seen them from day one to now and a real trajectory of growth. So let's hope that we can show a good display today.
When you have multiple players from multiple institutions, Florida State's got a couple, I think Penn State's got a couple. Is it natural to have them paired up when it comes to drills and lineups and such, or did you just kind of let them mix with everybody else when it comes to...
No, group cohesion is so key here, and when they're representing the crest, that's what binds us together. And these girls worship the crest, they wear it like a badge of honour. So no, there's no divides in this group. It's all about group cohesion so that they can perform together.
Yeah, and didn't know if it was, comfortability, I guess, for lack of a better word. Hey, it's like, I know what this player wants, and I know that you have expectations for the friendlies and such. I didn't know if you were pairing folks together just for continuity, I guess.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Cool. Expectations tonight with this matchup here?
I think for us it's about who can compete to get themselves on a plane to Poland. That's what this camp was all about. We've got a lot of players, 7 new players into this age group, and I just want to see how they perform. Some are going to start, some of them are going to finish, and then we've got Colombia in a couple of days and we'll switch the teams around, and I'll get to see a lot of players and where they're at and how they can compete against England.
I was going to ask how the integration was with the 7 new ones coming in here.
Fantastic. We have such a good group cohesion that our culture is all about it takes everybody, and we have to do it together. And our leadership group that have been on the cycle from October last year are really good at welcoming new players in. And we've got a training player who's 15, Laura Donna, and straight away take her in under the wing, and everybody just gels together. And we do a lot of drills and a lot of exercise in the classroom to help them use their voice and collaborate to make sure that transfers onto the pitch.
What do you think of the new digs?
Oh, it's outstanding. I mean, this is our home. So this is our fortress, this is our home. It's incredible that we've got this.
How does it compare to back in the UK, the training centres there?
Well, this training centre is miles better than St George's Park, that's for sure. It's one of the best in the world. So I wear this badge of honour, and I'm so proud to be here. The first time any team's ever played on these show pitches, and our girls cannot wait to cross the white line today.
Cool. Vicki Jepson, head coach of the U20s in their training camp until the 16th, 11 days, 12 days. 12 days worth of training camp down at the U.S. Soccer Arthur M. Blank, the Arthur M. Blank U.S. Soccer National Training Center. I'll get that right sooner or later. But the next friendly coming up tomorrow against Colombia, that should be on the U.S. Soccer YouTube channel. Dan Helfrich, the Chief Operating Officer, has been taking over play-by-play duties for those matches. So keep an eye out. I think it's 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And that will be the matchup that is there for next up for the U20s. One more thing before we go. And it has to do with, once again, the NWSL. Ashley Pettit, I don't know if you saw this from The Athletic. Kansas City's Michelle Cooper scored a brace against Denver last Friday, bent down and motioned toward her New Balance Furon Elite V9 cleats. New colorway, debuting a new colorway in front of the crowd at Dick's Sporting Goods Park on an NWSL Plus. The moment cost her $500. League rolled out its updated footwear exposure agreement policy, limiting which brands can be displayed during matches. Cooper denied making a point specific to the policy. Instead, she was celebrating her cleats. She basically said after the match she loved her cleats. League fined Cooper for not covering the branding as her new sponsor, New Balance, is not one of the two brands that have signed a deal with the league, in addition to their exclusive partnership with Nike, according to an NWSLPA spokesperson. NWSL previously gave Cooper a warning during the Challenge Cup for showing the New Balance logo. League declined to comment on whether they have started giving players fines as a part of the framework, the footwear framework introduced ahead of the Challenge Cup on June 26. NWSL requires boot manufacturers to pay for the right to display their logos during matches. NWSLPA has been in discussions with the league about grandfathering in existing endorsement agreements, including Cooper's NIL with New Balance, which she signed while she was at Duke. Megan Burke, executive director of the NWSLPA, quote, the league has decided to move forward with implementing this program over the union's objection, and specifically our objection to forcing players like Michelle Cooper and others to breach their own individual endorsement agreements. Because these players had no notice of the league's new framework at the time they entered into their endorsement field, union's position is that the program violates players' rights under the CBA as well as the standard play agreement. Burke says, we've really tried to work with the league to support its commercial objectives. We understand this is a revenue-generating initiative, and that's ultimately a positive for everyone. What's frustrating, according to Burke, is they're taking money out of players' pockets by refusing to adopt the same grandfathering language that exists in other professional leagues. If they're going to adopt an industry standard model, they can't pick and choose which parts they like, end quote. NWSL says they're going to appeal the fine and file a grievance. However, because according to Pettit, the NWSLPA is filing a grievance with the league under the terms of the CBA, the league is not permitted to collect fines until the issue is resolved. New Balance has not commented, and Jordan Haitema, who also wears New Balance cleats, was warned for the first time wearing them last week, according to the NWSLPA. Kayla Sharples from Kansas City, who uses Cadix, has not been fined at the time of publication. And Jack Rasmussen, the CEO and founder of Cadix, told The Athletic, I'm not going to ask Kayla to cover the logo on a product she believes helps her stay healthy. She's an all-pro defender wearing cleats backed by data that we believe provide better joint protection. We'll cover the fines if that's what it takes. Cadix also works with NFL athletes, and Rasmussen said that Cincinnati Bengals QB and investor Joe Flacco has volunteered to cover the fine if Sharples gets one. So the league did not agree to a medical exception for Cadix, according to the NWSLPA. And because Sharples wears her cleats for medical reasons related to an ACL tear in 2022, Rasmussen said there might be a workaround. He followed up in April, May, and June and got no response. League's football exposure deal requires brands to pay the league $100,000 plus at least $5,000 directly to each player under contract, whether they have one or more players wearing the cleats. Cadix only has one full-time athlete in the league wearing their cleats. So Sharple's story with Cadix during ACL recovery, she was approached by them. They have a patent on a cleat design that allows the studs to flex during high torque movement. Company says it dissipates force before they transfer to an athlete's ankles, knees, or hips. Company says technology is intended to reduce stress on joints and lower the risk of lower body injuries. And so that's what got Sharples interested in all of that. When asked by The Athletic whether a player would face a fine for wearing cleats from a brand not a part of the league-wide agreement, league spokesperson said at the end of the quote, if a player displays a footwear brand on the field from a brand that is not a league-approved brand, they may be subject to discipline in accordance with the league's footwear policy. They did not comment on respect to player fines. So keep an eye on that as we go forward. So Ashley Pettit was very, very busy finding out about the good and the bad of cleats. So we'll find out what that's like there. So reminder once again, tonight, it is this afternoon and tonight it is the quarterfinals to find out who the semifinals are going to be here in Atlanta. Morning, Abby. Yes, we do. We find out who's going to travel to Atlanta today. It is England and Norway, followed by Switzerland and Argentina. Winners of those come to Atlanta. Middle of the afternoon on Wednesday, MD-1s on Tuesday, and obviously we'll have all that coverage for you as we get into the week. Tonight on the network, it is MLS NEXT Pro, Inter Miami CF2, and Atlanta United 2 from Athens, pregame 6:30 with me. and play-by-play a little after 7 o'clock with me. It is tonight, 9 to 11, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. It is AST. Jason will be keeping an eye on Argentina and Switzerland, a full recap of England and Norway, everything else from quarterfinal Saturday. And we'll have the highlights from AST tomorrow morning, 9:05, when we go SDH AM Sunday. So Abby and Bam, thanks as always for coming in, as you always do. And we'll be back at it again here, 9:05 tomorrow. So you've got soccer today, soccer tonight, World Cup and the twos and MLS NEXT Pro. Plus, you've got USLW national semifinals going on 7 and 10:30. You can catch that on Sports Engine. Thanks, as always, to Maxi Viera, the head coach at Asheville City, for joining us from his hotel room in Burlington, Vermont, to start the show. And it will have all of those highlights for you tomorrow, breaking it down in the morning, 9:05 here across the network for SDH AM Sunday. For everybody here, to all of you there, thanks for dropping by, as you always do. I never know how long this is going to go on a weekend. I never know how long it's going to go on like a Saturday or a Sunday. We just kind of go. And I can't thank Coach Viera for hanging out with us basically for the first half hour of the show this morning and tackling Wi-Fi issues in Burlington, Vermont. But that is another go-round of SDH AM. The Saturday version. Wow, if it was the Sunday version on Saturday, that'd be an issue. Since it is the end of the show, that means I get to do one thing. I get to do this. Mucha Plati, I'll play it safe. Enjoy the games today. We'll catch up with you tonight for AST on 92.9 The Game, the Odyssey app, and the 92.9 The Game YouTube channel. Plus, back here in a little over 22 hours. Mucha Plati, I'll play it safe. It means I get to do this. See you in a bit.